All right, here we are. We are live. MinHub, Hangout, and demo, and going to show you guys some of the new app. I want to make sure that there are some people here, and there are about 20 of you guys that signed up. So if you can hear me, put a thumbs up in the chat, or if you're here, wave, introduce yourself, and then we can get started. We may need to wait for some more people to show up. That's okay. Let me check in here. See. Okay, we do have some of you guys clicked. So if you can, Darren, you can hear me. Awesome. I am also learning how to use YouTube Live sorts of software. So just downloaded this Ecamm Live and trying it out. And Darren from the UK. Ah, yes. I. It has to be late there, right? Siri, what time is it? What time is it in the UK? Oh my goodness, it's way too late. Oh, I'm glad you're here, Darren. Late night hangout. Ecamm is great. I just downloaded it today. Have not paid for it, so we have this lovely endorsement here. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I think that I'm going to try it. And also, we can do cool things like we play the glockenspiel. I don't know. You could do all kinds of sounds. It's ridiculous. All right. Well, Darren's here. He's been waiting all day. If it's just me and Darren hanging out, then that will be fine. I'm fine with that. Hopefully, Darren, you're fine with that too. If anybody else shows up, please introduce yourself in the chat. Say hi. And I got some really cool stuff that I've been working on. So, very excited to show it off. But I will say, so launched 3 new apps, groups, kids, and college on these 3 apps. So we launched Portal in the summer and then launched these 3 apps last Wednesday, so like 9 days ago. I've been, since then, I did a couple of bug fixes with those. There's an Android app problem. Hey, Carrie, good to see you too. From Kansas, that's really close to me now. And I'm in Arkansas, so and like the northwest corner, so pretty close. So anyway, the stuff that I'm going to show you, I've built in the last 9 days, so really fast. Also, I have another day job, and this is mostly nights and weekends while I'm fixing other bugs. So it's 100% not done, but this is the feedback that I'm looking for: is how would you make it better? What kind of security concerns are you worried about? Because I'm always worried about stuff with data and security concerns. So if you can think of anything that I'm not seeing, please let me know. You can drop stuff in the chat. I'm also going to take notes. And if you got questions, drop it in the chat, and I'll try to show you stuff. So what I did was I built these features in the youth app, and then I'm going to move them into the other apps. And some of the stuff I've built is just taking stuff that we added to the groups app or kids or college and put it back into the youth app, but you'll see. So when you load it up, everything's still the same. And then when we log in, you're going to see some new stuff. So hold on, Darren's been waiting all day for this. So I'm not going to put in all these things at once. We're going to put in these things as we go, so that too many changes too fast is a little bit hard for people. So, but I just want to get some feedback here. So I'm going to log in as Combat Chuck, and you'll see along here, along the bottom, there are some new icons. This little hat, graduation hat, is our Academy tab. This is our Today tab, and it or the feed tab, and then we've moved stats into events, and so I'll kind of show you some of that. So Right now it's still going to people. We are probably going to make it so that I'm going to make it so that it starts on the first tab, which would be your feed tab. So this is what it would look like. So here, the top half is upcoming stuff, and then it starts to scroll down as part of a feed. So up here at the top would be your upcoming events. So starting with your very next event, you could just jump straight to it by tapping on it without having to go to the events tab, having to find that. You can just jump straight into whatever events are your next events that are coming up. I think it loads 10 of them as your next 10 events. Also, upcoming birthdays. So I made up Frank Lambert's, Ender Wiggin, and Claire Huxtable, that their birthdays happen to be in this next week, but it will show you all the birthdays in the next week. This is adults and students, so that if you want to jump in and go text them or call them, you can get straight into their information, and it shows you what day is their birthday, so if you're trying to plan ahead, or if it's Sunday and you want to see who has a birthday this week, so you can say, oh, this person has a birthday this week. You know that's coming up, and you can see those in here. So those are the things that are upcoming. Then after that, we start seeing recent moments and events. So, and you'll see, so the darker gray are events, and then as I scroll down, I need to record some other moments. So recorded moments are a little bit lighter gray, and these will all mix in. If you look at the dates over here on the side, these are all, they're just in the order of dates. So the most recent one is at the top, which would be September 4th. This would be earlier today, and then going down. So if you have events and moments, they would kind of just like all interject in there, like this event happened and these were a bunch of ministry moments that happened at that event. One of the things that you can do now is that you will be able to do is adding notes to events. So this is very very much requested feature, especially for those events that don't happen all the time, or recording things that aren't necessarily ministry moments, just things about events. So this is any of your leaders that have this can jump in and just put in a title if they want. Suggestion from old person, turn the sound system down. You're going to get this all the time. So somebody creates a suggestion, you can have that note in there. But what this is really good for is when you're debriefing an event, you can add notes in there, and then next year when you go to do that event again, you can go back and see like what were all the notes, what were the things. So that's a place that you can just kind of hold those, and that's in here in your recent moments and events. I think that the way it is right now is it shows your last 10 events and your last 20 moments. I'm not sure, but we can kind of gauge where that is. You can quickly, if you tap on the attendance, it'll take you to the event screen. If you tap on the report, it'll do the report of all the people that were there. And if you tap on the quick view, it'll show you here. This will look better because there were actually people at that one. So quick view, reports, attendance, or go to the event screen straight from the feed now. And so instead of having to go to the events page and find those things, for your most recent events, usually what you're going to be doing, it's just a quick way to see it. So, and the quick view and the reports work the same. I will get into this. I actually just built this most of last night and today, which is if you go to an event screen now, or this thing that I'm working on is RSVPs, so allowing kids to sign up. So this one's a little bit weird because it's in the past. So let me go to an event in the future. So let's say youth group on the 9th. I don't know that you would ever use this for a youth group, but probably for like events, sign up for retreats, going to summer camp, we're going to go do an outreach, things like that. You might do signups. So when you do those, you can add an RSVP. And what that looks like now is there's 3 different categories: registered, kids that can't go, and then the maybes. If you just add a kid, so search by any name, DJ Tanner, so click on her, and then yes, she can go, and I can hit save RSVP. If I save the RSVP, it just adds her straight away, and then you'll see here in the registered. As you search for kids, if they've already been registered, then they will be removed from the list. So then if I add Stephanie, say that she's a maybe. And you can add notes. So these are really good because for some events, like you need to know t-shirt size. So she's a medium. So maybe you might have some notes about the RSVP that you want to log in there. You can add those as well. So when you're at an event, you can add students to these lists. You can ask them, hey, do you want to go? And Michelle is, she's going to go also. So we'll save her. And then let's do, I don't even know, Kevin McAllister, sure. Let's say that he's a no. On vacation that weekend. So then you at least know, like, this is why the kid wasn't coming. So then what I added in, I just built this today, but a couple things is, one, you can search. So if you tap in here to search, you can, if I press D, you see it'll filter down and only show the kids that have those letters in their name. So DJ, but if I type Kevin, it won't be in there. So these things side scroll, so the list will go off, so that if you have a bunch of kids registered and you're like, oh shoot, I just want to see if this person's registered, you can search real quick. You could also text them. That'll send a text message to every kid in the line, message on portal, their students, their parents, or both. Or you could run a report. So you could maybe, for all the maybes, you could say, run a report, send it to your assistant and say, or an intern and say, hey, can you follow up all these maybes and see if you can get them to go. So what I want to have happen is a couple things. One of these is I'm going to add the ability on portal to attach an event to an announcement so that kids can register themselves. They can say, yes, I'm going to go, write in portal. And if you, in the announcement, you can say, like, in the notes, let me know your t-shirt size, let me know if you need a ride, whatever the things are. And then they would pop right into this list under register. And it gives you a count so that if you know, every time that you add a kid to the yes, save it, now the count goes up to 3. So if you have this really long list, you know, okay, we got 27 kids signed up to go or whatever. It'll update the count as you go. So a couple things is allowing kids to sign up themselves or parents to sign their kids up in portal. Also, when you take attendance, then right now there's nothing in the event filters for the RSVPs, but that's where I'm going to add. I just want to see the RSVP students. So filter down to that and just say, because then when you're sitting there in the parking lot waiting for all the kids to show up, you can see, like, these are all the kids that should show up and they're in your attendance list and you're tapping them there as they get there. So that's a filter that I need to add as well. So that's the reason that it's hide and show is I'm also adding next to this, we're putting next to the RSVPs, I'm building a similar feature that is plans. So as you plan out events, you can create a plan for it. So for your youth group, you can say, you know, we're doing a game, we're doing 3 songs, we're doing a sermon, we're doing small groups, and then we're doing another song. And so then you could put in that plan, here's the small group questions, these are the 3 songs that we're doing, this is the game that we're playing. You could have different leaders fill that information out. So I'm adding that as well. But that'll be next to the show RSVPs, is show the plan or build a plan. So that's coming as well, but I haven't started that one yet. Okay, so in the events tab, you may notice that there's no stats tab at the bottom anymore. And the reason is because it was the least visited tab of all of the things. I've got these anonymized stats that just show me, like, how people use the app, what gets clicked the most, and that stats tab people visit the least. So I needed more screen real estate at the bottom for the amount of stuff that I'm building, so I decided to move that in here, and I moved the event types into a horizontal scroller. So you still can filter, like if you just want to see your youth group events, you tap on that, and it'll show you your youth group events. But what it does now also is it shows you underneath that, it shows you your attendance graph for that category. If you don't have anything on, it'll just show it for all events. But so then for youth group, it's showing you your total amount of kids that came to your youth group events this week, last week, 2 weeks ago, and it basically does the last 6 weeks. It says 5 weeks ago, but that's 6 weeks because we include this week. And so then and it's got the calculations of total, uniques, and average. That doesn't really do a lot if you have one event, but if you have multiple events together, like let's say you want to see all your events or youth group and Sunday school together, then you've got your average, you've got your uniques, and you've got your total. So uniques would be, so your total is always going to be a little bit higher, but if they went to both events, like let's say they went to youth group and Sunday school, then that uniques is going to drop because they're getting counted twice on total and once on uniques. So basically just needed to squeeze that in there. So added that in. There's not much you can do in this. You can only see the last 6 weeks. You can only see these different things, and there's not 2 lines on a graph yet. I didn't want to get too carried away because that wasn't the most important thing. I just wanted to kind of put it somewhere so that you can still get that information. This is probably the most common information that you'll look at to try to spot trends. But that's to build this next piece, which I'm really excited about, which is called the Academy. So, and this is, ignore the names because they're super weird, but I've done a lot of testing. And so that's why they look really weird. And I don't always come up with the right names to put in these things. So what this is when you want to do leader training and create these things that are standardized trainings, whether that's like, so tech team might be, instead of Booyah, let's call it like soundboard training, so that, what did that, see, it didn't save. We're going to run into bugs here. Looks like that might not, that's something I gotta fix. Yep. But I could create a new training and that will save for sure. So we'll call it soundboard. And say everything you need to learn how to run the soundboard, but it will not make you good at running sound, comma, it will just teach you how to do it, period. So now I've got a description and I create pick a category. So I pick the tech team. You can create as many categories as you want for the different trainings that you have, but this is really valuable in bringing your leaders in and being able to standardize some training for them. So think of this as any sort of course or onboarding that you would need to do, any sort of lesson for your leaders. So I did this as a youth pastor for like summer camp training. This is all of your camp counselors need to go through certain things, and or let's say you're subscribed to like DYM that has some sort of trainings on there that you can have people go through, or you create some like unlisted YouTube videos, or like, this is how we do discipleship training, this is how we whatever. Like, this is a central place to put those trainings so that you can track who has done them, and then also there's a way to have them respond as well. So because these could be completely different, I built this as like a modular system. So if you hit the plus, it shows like you can build these with these 6 different items. So headings, some block of text, you can insert an image, you can have video that's linked. Right now I've got YouTube working, but I want to have Vimeo and Wistia also as options. Links, so you can just put a link to a PDF or a website or whatever, and then questions where people can actually record responses. So so put a heading, so start here, and then some text, and then it might be good. Oh, see, this is kind of difficult. So this is a side note. When I make these apps, there's no keyboard on the screen because I use a keyboard because it's on the computer. And so when I start testing it on the device, it looks a little weird. Hey, I got a new subscriber. So start here. Okay. What I would do if I was building these lessons is I might create them in a Word doc or something about all the things that I want to copy and paste in here, and then be able to like double click and switch back and forth and paste those things in. But watch this first, and then let's see if I can. There we go. Then add a video. And so when you tap to add a video, you pick YouTube, you add the link. So whatever that weird thing is at the end of the video, you guys probably know what I'm talking about. It's how you deal with YouTube videos. So you add those things in. I'd probably need some more explainers on how to do that. A link, so let's say you've got a file in a Dropbox somewhere. Dropbox.com/read this.pdf, whatever that is. And images, you just select an image. Links. Oh wait, we did links. Questions. Okay, so then you can just ask a question. Tell me what you think about this. Okay, I'm going to create it. And so now when I go to soundboard, so this staff completed line right here is once staff have completed the lesson, so this will be a list, a side-scrolling list, kind of like what we were seeing in those other screens of all the staff that have completed this. It kind of puts everything in. So start here, watch this first, puts the YouTube video in, has the Dropbox link. It has an image, but I forgot to actually put an image in there. And then, yeah, it looks like the question didn't work, so we'll need to fix that. But up here you can see how this one works. So this, again, is a total weird example, but so just kind of making sure that stuff works. So what now? Explain, so they can put in an answer and then save that response. And final question: how now, brown cow? Who knew, brown cow? And then they can put in their response. When they try to complete it, if they at the end of a lesson, it will say mark lesson complete, and then it checks them off. If there are unanswered questions in there, and then if I go in there, you can see that I've completed it. If there are unanswered questions, you can't mark it as complete. So what that does is, for you as a leader, you can get in there and see which things have been done, and then you can. So there's two different views to this. You see all these little handles here. This is my first foray into drag and drop, which has not been easy, but I've been learning a lot about it, is if you want to reorder stuff. So down here, click, drag, you can reorder it. Maybe you want the discipleship training to be higher up. So what that does is, as the ministry leader, or as what will be the academy leader, if you want to go into manage staff roles, there will be an academy admin in there. You can create lessons, edit lessons, drag them around, all that stuff. If I log out and I log in under Claire, when she goes to the academy, she doesn't see all those edits. She can't add lessons. She can't edit them. As a leader, she can go into Booyah and she can answer the question, answer number 1. And I'll just kind of show you what happens here. Save that response, and then come down here. And if I try to mark the lesson as complete, please answer all questions and save answers before marking lesson. So answer number 2. She logs that so that you know whatever the questions are, or if you're like, hey, see, it didn't save. Definitely there's work to do here. But the idea is have them be able to respond to the questions, mark the lesson as complete, and then they're able to get the training that they need, and you can verify that they've actually gone through the training. So I think this could be really powerful. These categories, they look kind of weird, colors. The reason is you actually get to pick those. I'll go back in here and click on, so if I click on edit category, this is for tech team, so I can change this color in here, so you get to set all of those however you want them to look. Tap in the middle and it selects it and saves it, and now that is the color. So you get to create your, like, I was looking at like Podia and Kajabi, and honestly, like what Download Youth Ministry is doing, and like that's cool and that's great, and you could actually, if you have that, you can put those links in here and say, hey, go here, do this lesson. But you should be able to create those for yourself. So what this does is it just creates a central place where you have all of your onboarding stuff. This is what it means to be a middle school leader. This is what it means to do one-to-one discipleship. This is what you need to know about being a mandated reporter. Whatever those things are for your context, you can create those lessons in here. And it gives your leaders a really good reason. Hopefully, I mean, the app's only $5 now. But hopefully this is worth way more than $5 to just be able to have a place where your leaders can go in and get the ministry training that they need to be a part of your ministry. So that is the academy. We've got the events with the new stats. We've also got the, where was that in the youth? I think it was this youth group. Show RSVPs. Yeah, we've got the RSVPs where you can search, text, post a portal, do reports, and add kids to RSVPs. And then we've got the feed. So upcoming events, upcoming birthdays, and then recent events with notes. Oh, I want to show you this too. So on your older events, if you go back, I think I did it on this one. Yeah, if you've got notes recorded in old events, you can tap this little thing. So it just sits there above your stats now, and you can go see all the events or the old notes that were in there. If you want to add a new one, you can add a new note, and it tells you who created that note in there. So if you have like multiple notes from different staff members, it'll show their profile in there. I think it looks a little bit different. It doesn't show the last name on the home screen because we got a little bit skinnier spot with the way that the icons are. So, question, are you able to delete a completion from staff should it need to be done again? So right now what I'm doing is I'm recording the date that it's done. And so yes, that is something that I'm gonna see if I can do this in the add to broadcast. All right, Darren, are you able to delete a completion from staff should it need to be done again? So yeah, if you update let's say you go into Academy and you update a training that's already been done and you edit it, I need to add this in, but it is recording the date, and you can see that I want to see here. Yeah, it records the date that they did the event. I already have that in the database. So the idea is if the last update for the event, for the course, is newer than the date that they recorded it, then it will give them an alert that they need to do it again. Or at least allow them to do it again. So yes, I have not built that in, but that's a great question because these things change. And so if they did it last year, that doesn't mean that they've got it this year. Great question. Anybody else have questions, thoughts, concerns about learning how to use it? Oh, cool. Now I'll move this one away. Any other questions about things here, other things that we've talked about? This is great for safeguarding. Yes, exactly. Hopefully that you guys can create training super easy and and then just know like that it's here. This is where the information is. I know who has gone through it. Or even like, let's say you have a new staff person come on that's going to be helping you out, and they're like, well, who can I call that's gone through the trainings or whatever? Just like load it up, and you can see all the people that have already gone through the trainings. Something that I've thought about is creating smart groups with filters on this information as well for your leaders. Right now we don't have smart groups for leaders, we only have them for students. But that is something that has been requested and been thinking about is, so maybe you make a smart group of like, I want to see all of my leaders that have not gone through this training yet. And then you could text them and say, hey, make sure that you go through this training when you get this done. Other questions, thoughts, concerns? One of the things that I did think about that if you could share your opinion. So in this stream, we have ministry moments. So pray with DJ. DJ's going through a lot right now. We prayed after youth group. It's got a horizontal scroller for anybody that was put into this. Prayed about sick dog because it's youth group. Of course you're going to pray about somebody's sick dog. So the um I'm not sure who should be able to see these for ministry moments. Right now, it's just the most recent ones that have been recorded. My thought is that maybe this should default to, if you're connected to the student, or if you created the ministry moment, or if you're an admin. Those would all be reasons why you should see these and maybe hide them from everybody else, but I'm not sure. So if you have any opinions on that, you can let me know in the chat. Or the other thing that I'm thinking about here is anything else that would be good for this screen that you could quickly get to, see information really quick, that you right now you maybe have to go dig through 2 or 3 screens, and it would be good to just like surface that. Could we set it as private and have the option to be... Yeah, I think that... So Darren asked, could it be made private and have the option to be in public? My guess is, Darren, clarify, you're talking about the ministry moments we were just talking about. So have the ministry moments be private by default and the option to be made public if you want. I think that's a really good idea. Another thing that I thought of is right here, on the white band, putting a little plus mark so that you can record moments really easily, so that somebody could just, like right now, you either have to go to the student, tap on events, tap on a plus, and then you can record a moment, or go to the events tab, tap on a plus, tap on a moment. And so it might be good to just on that home screen, right, like recording ministry moments is so valuable as you delegate ministry, to be able to know how your volunteers are doing and what's going on with your students, especially students that you're not connecting with but somebody else is. So to close that loop and get that information back to you, being able to maybe just have a plus button right here on the home screen as well. So yeah, he said yes, ministry moments. So that's a great idea. Maybe I'll put that in. I've got to decide what goes over here in the like manage the feed screen for the settings. And so that might be something in there where we put, do you want to show ministry moments where it's just recent events, or ministry moments and events? Because it probably depends on the ministry. There's some youth centers where like that use MinHub where it's extremely dicey to put any information in there because of one, the range of things that happen, and two, liability. And so there's other ministries where it's like you pretty much know all your kids, and maybe there's a few extra kids in there that are friends of the regular kids, but that's you may be able to see more information and not be a big deal. Does the ministry moments alert the ministry leader when entered by staff? We do not have that right now, but that is a great... we could do a push notification, or at least a like a badge, like a little badge down here, like the number 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever. If you've got some new ministry moments that you haven't seen yet, that's a great idea. It would definitely go to the ministry leader. Yeah, I have to think about that. But right now, I think in notifications, we only have 2. Right now, we have push notifications for student birthdays and portal messages. As I think Darren noted earlier, the student birthday notifications don't always work. They're local, so they didn't use the push notification. They're not from one app to another app the way that messages are in portal. So they were called local notifications, which sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. They locally schedule. And the way that iOS and Android has gone over the years, sometimes they work and sometimes they don't, because they are scheduled locally, but whether or not the app can actually figure out that it needs to send those based on how recent you've opened the app and your operating system and whether or not the technology likes you, you may or may not actually receive that notification. So... But that is a good idea. I wonder, yeah, I'll have to think about that. Any other questions, thoughts, things that you hope to see, things that you're bummed weren't on here, stuff that would make MinHub better for your ministry? Let me know in the chat. If not, then we will go for a little over half an hour. We can call it a night since it's almost midnight where Darren is. I'm so glad you stayed up. That makes me so happy. But yeah, any other questions, comments, reactions? Is this stuff you guys like? Also, like prioritization, I guess. If you could pick one thing to come out first, what would be the thing to kind of finish all the bug testing and get it out? What would be the most important to you out of the things that you've seen? So RSVPs for events, the Academy tab, the Feed tab, notes on events, any of those things. Hey, Clint, I'm assuming that Clint, that you are on the call. For me, an option for UK telephone. Oh, dude, the UK, all of the localization customization is, as I've waded into this, is so much harder than it should be. But I 100% know what you mean, and I'm going to write that down, especially because you stayed up, Darren. This is for you. UK localization. That's the same thing for Portal, because Portal uses phone numbers to verify the people in your database. Right now, it can only send to the US based numbers, and I have to do two things. One of them is figure out the formatting and making sure that works. And the second thing is connecting through, it sends through Amazon SNS. So it's a service that sends text messages, just like the normal 6-digit codes that you get when you verify that it's you or whatever. Amazon provides that service, but there's things about sending it in other countries than where you're based, and there's just a lot of hoops to jump through. So anyway, yes, rearranging the dates as well. Day, month, year. I think that's most of the planet runs by day, month, year. I have tried to run everything, for the most part, I try to do everything without doing month, day, year, as far as like formatting it in a way that's just numbers. Like you'll see, I try to include the name of the month, so that I can't do that there. So that we don't run into, so it's at least clear if you're in Australia or the UK or anywhere else that has different formatted dates. Is there, Darren, if you know of a certain spot in the app where it shows the date in the wrong format, where it gets confusing for you, let me know, and I'll try to get that switched. Probably the next version. Anything else? I am translating USD. All right. Well, you have my email, kurt@manhubapp.com. Please reach out. This has been so fun. I can't even tell you. Just like what I do is I take these note cards. So I draw them out on here of like what the screens are going to look like. And like you can see on here, this is the events. Nope, that's the wrong one. This is the events tab. Just moving the graph down below, and then let's do the side scrolling filters and like what it ends up looking like on the screen. So I'm always just designing stuff out, and then now that I'm being able to build quicker, it's been really fun. So if you guys give me ideas, we can definitely continue to make that better. I've been using it for 5 years. Great, looking forward to these updates. Awesome. Well, tell your friends, because the more people that use this, I'm it. So if that hasn't been clear lately, I am the designer, the developer, the customer support, the marketer, the sales guy, the guy that does the demos, the guy that files the taxes. I'm everything. So I would love to start making enough money that I could hire more people, but I am not willing to charge ministries more for it. So, because I do not want to take money out of ministries, I want it to be cheap for you guys. So that's why the price has never gone up, only come down. But I think that if it helps more ministries, then we can hire more people, we can build faster. So please tell your friends, and that's my only salesy pitch. But other than that, I just want to pray for you guys. Thank you so much for showing up. So God, thank you for the chance to hang out with some other pastors on a Friday afternoon or super late in the evening in the UK. And God, I pray your blessing on them over this weekend, that you would be with them, that you'd be with their ministries, God, that you would protect them, and that you would continue to show them the best places to move their ministries forward, God, and that MinHub can help them understand what's happening in their ministries so they can make good decisions strategically moving forward. God, we love you. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, guys. Well, it was so great to have you on today. Hopefully I'll do more of these and can show you some more stuff. So maybe in the next couple of weeks we'll do this again. But again, Kurt@minhubapp.com. You can send stuff there or post comments on this if you're watching it later. And would love to hear your feedback about any of these features and any ideas for stuff upcoming. All right, see you. Guys, have a great weekend.